know it.
Yeah.
Definitely know it.
You can move closer.
And then, but there's more tension in what we're doing than there is there, because we know the result of that.
Yeah.
Yes,
You don't necessarily know.
And a Hammond working somewhere.
Yeah, there's a May and a Hammond in another
You don't necessarily
media
know
event.
what's going to
Well, I
happen in
suppose
our
we could
show.
say that.
Okay, gents, whenever you're ready, I can.
Is this on camera? I presume?
It's on
Yeah.
camera, so
Hence
if
the
you
camera.
I'm
can
losing
that'd be great.
losing my gum.
Mind, sight,
there it is.
hearing, car keys.
Okay, so can I start by asking how close were you to being killed in this series? Any of you?
Customarily, we're always pretty close to keeling over for one reason or another.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
Killed or dying, they're slightly different.
But to be honest, this season, none of us had a moment when I think it was, terrifying, or, normally Richard's gone upside down, or he's on fire, or he's broken
weirdly,
a bone.
I don't remember ever thinking this series, I'm going to die.
On the
or,
bridge in Colombia.
I thought it then.
You did think it out, and I cut my finger nearly off.
Oh, God! It was on a pot dog. Was it a dog?
Was it a dog? No, it was a
Pot
fish.
bird.
I broke it trying to smash the beak off a ceramic duck with a hammer.
Common accident, apparently.
It's
Look,
what
there's the
cartoons are
scar.
about.
Normally our injuries are worse than this, but that
Yeah.
is the worst injury the three of us have suffered. You want to get a close-up of that if you can.
They're not
See,
too
it's
close.
just discoloured. There it is. That's the worst injury we've sustained in season 3.
And it was in quite a remote location, and it's very difficult to get a Mickey Mouse plaster out there, but we managed it.
And if you have just eaten, I'm sorry for that terrifying, horrible, gruesome sight.
Can I just suggest that before you run this interview, you do put a little warning up, say, warning contains gruesome injury scenes.
Of Scar.
Viewers may find upsetting.
And what can fans expect from this current series?
Well, this.
Yeah,
His
is that?
finger.
Apart from the scar.
No, that's pretty much it. Nothing else happened as far as I can tell. Jeremy cut his finger.
No, to be honest, let's be fair to our work.
Yes.
It leads up to that moment. then there's gouging arterial blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it tails off to
Nothing really. But in the traditional television, we spin it out a bit up to the point you're all waiting for, which is where Jeremy cuts his finger on a china. Was it a fish or a bird?
Bird.
It was a porcelain dog, and it wasn't china. It was Azerbaijan
No,
or
made in
Georgia.
China, I mean.
Oh, see, yes, it was china porcelain. I mean, some
Azerbaijan
kind of
dog. Some sort of
Georgia.
ceramic,
Not a dog.
very sharp.
ceramic.
We've
sharp
gone
dog.
off topic. The new series, we have gone further than before. We really have ramped up the travelling and the adventure. So we've gone
Yeah, we have,
bonkers
actually.
with it. Yeah, we've been
We've
all over it.
further and harder than ever before. Mongolia was a really hard one. I challenge anyone in the audience watching to achieve what we did there. What they did there. I simply sat and watched while they amazed me for once. And then China was hot and difficult, and James's air conditioning didn't work, and that was hilarious. That was the hottest place on earth, isn't it? The furnace
Well,
of China.
it is pretty much the hottest place on earth, actually. That's not hyperbole, it is. I mean, they do sometimes tell you to stop working because it's too hot, and I love that idea.
The average daily temperatures in the city we filmed in was 48 degrees and 90% humidity. And this is the biggest city in the world, if you include the metropolitan area, a place called Chongqing. Nobody's heard of it, but it's bigger than Mexico, it's bigger than Tokyo, it's bigger than Los Angeles, London, anywhere you care to mention, bigger than Shanghai. Nobody's heard of it. It's 48 degrees and 98% humidity, and the air conditioning in James's car didn't work. And that was television gold, watching James slowly melt.
I actually did vanish.
But look at my complexion as a result. It's almost perfect.
And is budget like any option for you guys? Because it just seems to be like endless budgets with this, and obviously the aesthetic value is amazing as well.
But it's
we
not
do
cheap.
have a budget.
But it's not, everybody assumes we have this massive budget, but it's just true. But no more so than David Attenborough has to film his polar bears and his insects. It's a budget which is necessary if you're doing a round-the-world show. And all of it is spent on our clothing. No.
My
Not-
haircut.
But we look
No.
great.
Our complexion, our makeup, we're not wearing makeup, we don't have a wardrobe budget, we don't go mad with ourselves, it's just all spent on the screen.
And if you divide it, the budget seems extreme, but if you divide it by the number of people alive now on the planet, it starts to look fairly reasonable.
Precisely.
That's how you justify it.
Good.
And how would you sell it to like people that weren't necessarily into cars? Is that the order? Can anyone watch it?
Well, there aren't many cars in it, so that
Have you ever seen us three do our show?
What, live?
No,
No,
on
watched
television.
Yeah.
Well, there
Have
you
you
go.
ever seen a car in it? Occasionally. But it isn't really a car show.
It's
sort
about.
of, it's anointed with cars, but it's not really a car show.
It's like, is the concept of the baby Jesus about wine? No. Wine is a part of the Jesus thing. We go and we drink it on a Sunday morning when we're taking communion. But it's not. You see what I mean?
I did exactly what you
I think you've mangled
That was quite a leap.
I haven't mangled it. It's, cars are the wine to the Jesus story.
Yeah, I think I see what he means, but it's true. I mean, you don't have to be a car geek to watch our stuff. You never have had to be. We are, but that's all right. That saves you the bother. It's always been about cars are sort of there, but it's about people, places, adventure, arguing, adventure.
Why do you look at me with
getting
arguing?
into- I mean,
does it-
both of you.
If I can be
Well,
really-
not you.
Now we're arguing about arguing.
We're arguing
You
now.
saying I argue?
That's enough
You do
arguing
argue.
about
I don't
whether or not
argue.
you're arguing about arguing. If I can be pretentious and a bit Radio 3 for a moment, we are a prism through which you can view the world through the eyes of a car enthusiast, but really we're about the human condition.
I think it's better to stick to my Jesus analogy.
Okay, it's
But your
one of
Jesus
those two
analogy
things.
doesn't work.
It does work.
No, it doesn't. What you
Within
say,
the
why-
Jesus story, there is wine.
Yeah, there is.
Within the story of us three, there are cars.
Yes.
Yes.
The Jesus story is not about wine, and our story is not
The
about
Jesus
cars.
story is sort of about wine because that is
Not
the blood
really.
of Christ and his incarnation.
Well,
We
not
argue
really.
about theology a lot.
Yeah. We're all from different religions, which makes it quite interesting.
Yeah, my religion hasn't got a name yet.
Mine hasn't been invented.
And finally, I just wanted to ask you guys if you've seen the Gillette advert and what you thought about it and its impressions of masculinity.
I've seen the fuss about it. I haven't seen the advert. I know
I
people
haven't
are
seen the
talking
advert,
about
but what I did last night was I went to see a movie called The Favourite with Olivia Colman and Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz. And I don't know why they didn't just start the film by those three coming on in front of the camera and going, you know all men are shit, and then ending the movie.
Oh,
it would
was
have
it?
saved me 2 hours of my life. What an appalling, dirge-filled, nonsensical waste of celluloid that was. So I don't know what Gillette have done. No, but it was just, it's the hashtag Me Too thing gone mad.
What is this Gillette
not
ad?
It's about toxic masculinity and it's basically presenting.
toxic masculinity.
Hang on,
What
what's
It's
that,
is
actually
that?
starting to piss me off.
what's that got to do with
Toxic
razor blades?
I
masculinity.
know, it just pisses me off. It's just wankers, really, getting carried away with themselves.
I don't think masculinity is
I
necessary.
know. So I'm never buying another Gillette product as long as
Is
I
it
live.
misandry? Of a
No,
sort?
it basically
What is
says it's not right to be a man. Well, there's not much I can do
Well,
about
how
it.
do you talk about razor blades?
Yes.
But how do you advertise a razor blade by saying it's
I
not
know,
right to be a
but they
man?
have done, and then they've got people talking about it, and I might talking about it by walking into a shop and going, have you got a razor blade that isn't a fucking Gillette? That's the way I'm talking about it.
On that note,
Like, no, like,
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, of course. No, it's this finger.
Just show it like I'm just one foot.
Oh, you'll throw up. It's
Perfect.
There. No, I'm really
Thank you
cross.
very
I'm
much.
cross with the